This is Rodney G, Scarred Not Silent. And this episode will kind of dive into some more of the early stages of making it in San Diego. Before I get started, just want to offer my condolences to my family, which seems very strange to be here and offer my condolences since I'm part of the family. But I want to offer my condolences to the Patton family as well as the Graves family. I lost my uncle yesterday, and so it's still taking everyone some time. Came to be expected, but that doesn't make it easier nonetheless. And myself, it makes it hard because obviously I'm here. At least what I could do is offer my condolences. I have my memories with my uncle, and I won't share those because they're my memories. And we had our memories with the family. At one time, we had guess I'm sharing memories, huh? At one time, and this was younger growing up, like everybody was in one area playing cards all night. And the ones that didn't play cards kind of sat back and just relaxed and listened to the conversations, and we throw our 2 cents in. And I was young, so my 2 cents was probably maybe 1 cent. As we grew up, we still kept a lot of the traditions, and it always took place over my grandparents' home. And they would play cards until the sun come up. And like I said, the ones that didn't play cards would still sit and talk on the porch in Des Moines, Iowa, listen to the crickets and looking at the lightning bugs. So like I said, I didn't want to get too much into it. It's just now you're getting older, having those memories, they all make sense now as you start getting older, as you start becoming the generation that was supposed to be sitting at the table playing the cards, fulfilling the legacy, so to speak. I do have memories and condolences from the Washington household. Getting into the life in San Diego. At this point, I quit my job. At this point, I talked about walking into the ocean for the quiet, which I didn't do, but it offered time for reflection. Each one of those moments are growth moments, and it's the test to see how you're going to navigate those tough times. Everybody loves the good times. We love the good times, but what we forget is it's going to storm one day. And is your house, is your body protected for the storm? I have always been pretty much level-headed. I think this is the first time that I really felt unraveled and didn't have a whole lot of answers. The dialysis was enough. I still had to commute to go to my appointments for dialysis, and I was still bringing in those boxes every 2 weeks, I believe, because I had to shorten my prescription so I could fit the boxes in the Airbnb, which was small. Livable is just small to have dialysis boxes around. So we switched it to every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, they would bring my dialysis boxes. If I wasn't home, they would set them on the side of the street. And I say side of the street, it's actually when you drive in, it was kind of this roundabout in the apartment complex. So they would stack them there. If the driver was available, or if I saw the driver would use the dolly to take the boxes up. But like I said, if I was gone during that time, because they give you a delivery time and the boxes were sitting there, I would myself have to carry 50 boxes up. It's real tiring, right? A lot of stuff going on. Eventually, after Marie made several visits while I was in San Diego, this one's a little fuzzy, but I believe my friend drove up to get to bring our stuff up to San Diego. Kids, and I say kids, they're adults, but they're kids. So the adult kids stayed back and stayed in the home. The mortgage was still being paid at that time. It was still being paid until we transitioned out in San Diego. And at that time, they wanted to, they could come stay in San Diego. They could stay in Tucson. They also had family in Florida, which that was an option too, if they wanted to stay or moved to Florida. But it took several weeks for us to figure out the game plan. And the game plan really kind of like a what they call a living document game plan, because we was at the mercy of what we're going to do. And Marie had already put her, she was done with her job. She done with the 2-week notice and she came out. But what she did was she had already put resumes out and feelers out when she was in Tucson. And by the miracle of, for me, God, one of those letters came a call to Marie. And at this time, I think we was only about 2 weeks or so before our lease was up. She received a call from one of the nonprofit employers, interviewed, and was offered a position. This was in 2017 because we just crossed over into January. I had put my notice in December. By January, I was like January almost 1st, I believe, I was not working. And then I was in there for the rest of the weeks. So what we did was I went and applied for Social Security Disability insurance, not knowing the rules. Going there was amazing because I took the bus and I had to walk because the bus only went so far into this neighborhood. And I had to walk into this neighborhood. I never found that neighborhood again all the time I lived in San Diego. Got off the bus and it was like a small town neighborhood. Like it had beautiful parks and the ground was paved. I had little like shops inside this area. It wasn't gated. It wasn't a gated community. It felt like if you walked in one of those movie sets, like you have everything around you, the city, and then you walk into this movie set and it's like this suburban TV show. And I walked through there, felt really good to walk through this neighborhood. I can't even explain no more than that. It was simply amazing being broke, about to get on basically public assistance and singing doopity doodah through this neighborhood. I already knew I wasn't going to be living there, but I could enjoy the walk while I got to my Social Security office. So that was kind of like a relaxing surprise, cool surprise. And the process wasn't that long to be seen either. It was just afterwards, I realized that I wasn't going to get any disability insurance for 6 months. There was a 6 months waiting period. Marie hadn't started working yet because she just got the job off. We did have a little, something to fall back on. However, it made it very stressful. But regardless how stressful it happened, regardless of me having to grab my boxes, regardless of whatever happened during that stretch of time, there was still support. There was support from my friend who offered, if anything happened, you could stay with us to get on your feet, to helping to bring Maria up and some stuff, to the young adults continuing to have a place to stay. Everything fell in place. How I got out of my darkness, I think I mentioned the OPA before, which is observation, processing, and action. I had to process my feelings. I had to process myself. I had to process the situation. I had to process all that information that I had. First thing I had to do is observe where I was at in that moment and why and how to get out of that moment. Once I fully observed what was going on, good and bad, I was able to do the processing part. And by that time, I was able to take the action. And even though it wasn't my ideal action was to go back to work. However, at that time, the action I needed to take was to go get the SSI, or Social Security Disability, to at least have some type of financial backing in the house and then go from there. But like I said, everything worked out. So if you're feeling like you're in a space that seems to not go anywhere, take your pen and paper, observation, process, action, and maybe do that for a couple of days. Maybe you just need to write down observation, what's going on around me, who's with me, who do I have to turn to? Maybe I need to suck it up a little bit and start asking for help. What organizations are around me? Then process it. How am I going to use these organizations? What do I need to keep going? What type of information? Do I need food? Do I need clothing? Do I need to go and see if there's a rec center somewhere that could help? If there's a meetup group, I just need to get out. Is there Facebook pages that I could connect to group-wise? Start that way to meet people. That would be your action. Observe. You've already processed. How you take your action. It's my method. I don't have any research behind it. It's just something, if you've been following me, I explained the process or how I came to the process. The UPA method. Anyway, this has probably gone longer than I expected. It's okay. It's okay. I want y'all to take care. And like I said, if you wake up, you have a purpose. And I'll see you on Friday.